Hi, I'm Janelle. Welcome to Scribble City right now. I was going to do another challenge video, but there's been something on my mind that I wanted to talk about because lately I've been feeling more and more creative than I've ever felt, and so we're going to do a writer's minute. There's 3 stages of writing and motivation I want to talk about today. You have lack of motivation, returning motivation, and feeling fired up. So, let's get started. Being a writer, it seems like the muse is tied to emotions, how you're feeling, how busy life is. At least that's what I thought. For the last 5 years, I've been doing little to no writing until recently. I also realized there was a lack of creativity in general. I didn't find joy in my passions anymore. I didn't find joy in even television shows or life, and it felt dull, and I felt like I had no purpose. I was working for a paycheck. I was trying to survive, but that wasn't giving me fulfillment. That wasn't making me happy. That wasn't giving me joy. So that's my lack of motivation. I mean, you can't write when you don't feel like it. You can't create when you feel down. You can't exist without passion. And I noticed that, and I couldn't write. I had stories I started and maybe would write a sentence or two here and there, trying to find that purpose again, trying to just make something, because writing is what makes me me. And I decided to make the blog, and that was cool. I could write little short stories here and there, but even that petered out when life got too busy, and it was just, everything felt like a struggle, and I never wanted it to be that way. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager and I could build notebook after notebook after notebook, and it was constantly, there was a new story, and if I didn't have a pen and a notebook in my hand, I wasn't, living. So, lack of motivation, just completely not being able to be creative, just made me become a sliver of myself, a shell of a person. And that many writers feel that way, but that's not how it has to stay. So I want to talk about what it's like when you feel that way, and what it feels like to finally break through that wall. And the change in my attitude didn't happen overnight. I mean, I was going through health issues, and we've all had one of the most interesting years ever. But I made a decision going, well, if things are going to go wrong, I got to make things go right. So I decided that I was going to find purpose again. I was going to make that purpose. I decided to do YouTube. I've started the blog again. And it was hard. It was trying, but I started to feel like there was a change. I would look forward to making the next video. I would look forward to posting the next blog. I really found that feeling of joy, that feeling of creating again, was becoming alive. And I just wanted to share that because it's the greatest feeling in the world, where you're going through this dark tunnel and you feel like there's no end to it, and then all of a sudden you see daylight, you see vibrancy, you see just hope again. And that made me think, well, if I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I create? What else can I bring back? And that's that creative spontaneity, that joy. That was something that I hadn't felt in so many years. So I was like, well, we're going to do the YouTube, we're going to do blog, we're going to just see how far I can take this. And little did I know that was just the beginning. So everything started with putting a few stories back up on the blog, and I'm going, well, it would be even cooler if I could write the stories. And that's where the challenges came from. So I would write the stories on camera and I would post it on YouTube. And then I said, well, the challenges are great, but let's expand YouTube. Let's have the writer's minute. Let's talk about writing topics or writing struggles or writing ideas. And even when I was having a terrible week, I still said, yes, I need to get a video out. Let's do this. Let's get the video done and let's get it posted. Let's get the blog updated. Let's put out all the notifications. And I just was so excited, and I was what I called fired up. It's so silly, but I feel like it's an adrenaline rush. Like you're capable of anything and everything, even when things get tough. And, you know, after a couple of weeks of YouTube and the blog, then I said, I haven't written a story. I haven't explored my own world and my own creativity in years. Let me pick up this pen. Let me pick up this notebook and let's bring these stories back from the dead. Let's bring them to life. Let's give them purpose again. And I wrote and I wrote and I wrote, and there were pages, and I rewrote parts, and it just, the creativity started flowing and the ideas started flowing, and it hasn't stopped. It's amazing. I have a story that I'm working on that was mere pages a few weeks ago, and now it's almost complete. And that story I started back 5 years ago, 2016, 2017. And I started it because the idea was there, but life got in the way. My motivation failed me. My drive failed me. And I put the story away saying, oh, I'll get to it eventually. Well, I got to it eventually, and it's even better than it was before. My characters have more life to them. My stories are more dynamic. I feel like I've matured as a writer and they've matured as characters, and it's just something that you have to just work for. You can't just go, oh, life's too hard, I can't do this. You have to go, this is what I want, so I'm going to do it. Because like anything, you're going to be rusty. It's going to take some time. You're going to fight against it because sometimes, yeah, it could be easier to just sit in front of the TV. But is that creativity? Is that living your purpose? Is that finding your purpose? Those 10 minutes I spent watching TV, I could write a paragraph. That hour I spent playing video games, I could get a chapter done. The shift has been astronomical. And the funny thing is life hasn't stopped. I mean, the issues that we have, daily life, daily struggles, those haven't stopped, but I'm not feeling like it's dragging me down like it was before, going, oh, life's too hard, I can't write. I feel like writing is making it so I can get through the struggles. Writing is making it so that I can dive into my world and realize that it doesn't matter what is going on around you. If that story is meant to be on the page, you put it on that page, and it will give you the chance to get one step closer to a better place. Financial gain, peace of mind. I don't know what your motivation is. I don't know what other people's motivation is, but for me, this is what I was meant to do. And every time I try to go, oh, it's just a hobby, it's just an idea, I feel guilty for working on this story when I should be paying bills. I should be, being an adult. I should be doing something constructive. And that would just tear me down and shake me up. And I've now realized that what I'm doing is constructive. It helps my attitude. It's going to give me that freedom I desire. It's something I can still do even when my health doesn't want to cooperate. Maybe I can't write as fast as I used to. Maybe I can't type as fast as I used to. Maybe I can't clock in 9 to 5. But I can still do that. I can still create. My brain can still share these wonderful stories with everybody and these wonderful ideas. It doesn't matter the challenges you face. If you have that passion, it's going to just make it that much easier to prioritize it. I mean, like I said, I had mere pages, mere things where it seemed like, oh, I've put this story aside too long. Is it still there? Can I still write it? Will I know where I was going? And so of course I was a bit intimidated, but like I said, it's come back to be even greater than it was before. And it's an amazing feeling. But it was a shift in my attitude, a shift in my priorities. I said, this is what I want, and I'm going to get it. And I don't feel guilty for sitting down with my pencil anymore. I don't feel guilty for turning off the TV or telling people I need the time to write, because it's what's going to make me me. It's what's going to give me the purpose. Because for me, writing's like breathing. If I don't do it, I don't feel whole. And I used to feel guilty for wanting to feel that way, to enrich my life with all these characters that I can create and enjoy. And I don't think anybody should feel guilty for their passion. I don't think anybody should feel guilty for prioritizing what's going to give them something that will get them through the tough times. I don't think anyone should feel guilty for working toward their career, because you don't just start at the top. You've got to climb that ladder. You've got to climb the way up to success. Go up the road. It's not something you can just start at the top. I mean, it would be great if we could, but you got to start, and starting means starting small. It means starting with that first word, that first page, that first paragraph, that first chapter, that first book, that first script, whatever you write, whatever you create, that first drawing, that first painting. It's that step. But that step leads to that next step, and that next step leads to completion, and completion leads to the next project, and the next video, the next story, the next idea. And then suddenly you realize that it's second nature, and you're happy, and you're excited. And yeah, there are days where the story's not coming like it should, but you're not upset at yourself, because you know that there's just something in your head that you have to untangle, some character plot you have to dissect, some scene or motivation that could be slowing things down, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't completely kill it. You just keep writing, and eventually it'll untangle itself. And even if you have to cut a couple of pages because you sort of worked through the mire to get there, you still got there. It's not something that stops you. It's something that drives you forward. And I just had to share that, because I haven't felt this way in so long, and I'm hoping that these videos and the stories and stuff can help others be inspired to do so too. I mean, I've often described it as feeling like a teenager again. And there's nothing about my teenage years I really want to repeat, except for the fact that basically my goal was to fill as many pages in a notebook with as many stories as often as possible. I would write until my fingers hurt. I'd write until my writing callus was raw. I would write until I would have to soak my fingers in warm water just so I could keep writing. I would have pages and pages and pages and notebooks, and my dad would go, "I just bought you one." Yeah, well, it's full, and that's the only thing I think I wanted to repeat, is that ability to just write with abandon, that ability to just sit down and have that story, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was anything, it got on paper. And I feel that way again. And that's the only part of being a teenager I ever want to repeat. So what I want to know is, what is your motivation for writing? What is your reason for writing? How does motivation affect you? Are you one of those people that can just write and create no matter what happens? Are you like me, where you struggled for so long and you thought that because life was life and things were hard, that writing wasn't worth it because you had other more important things to do? Let me know, is it, what kind of writer are you? Are you the type that writes to get through the hard times? Are you the type that writes to get escape from hard times? Are you the type of writer that just writes because you write all the time and regardless of whatever situation it is? And so, that's the end for this. And let me know in the comments what you would like to see for the next Writer's Minute video. And the next time I see you will be another challenge. So please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you next time. Remember, it's Scribble City. We write now and we write often.